All right, so this course is going to get a little more interesting. So this section is preparation. We're not just stuck on food safety and kitchen equipment. So we're going to actually get into and we're going to prep and show you a little bit of some knife skills in this section. We're going to talk about preparing your kitchen. It's important to get everything ready and how you should have it laid out and things like that to be able to, when you're ready to cook, to be able to focus on what you're doing, which is super important. We're going to talk about preparing the ingredients, and then we're going to get into some of those knife skills to show you how to chop an onion actually in this video. And also we're going to talk about on-hand ingredients. These are the ingredients I think every home cook should have in their kitchen at all times, so you're ready for when you prepare different meals. And learning about some of these key ingredients is kind of a little bit of jump start into the section that's coming up in the course when we're talking about building flavor. You know, salt, fat, acid, heat. It's a little jump start into that. All right, so let's jump into preparation. All right, so let's talk a little bit about preparing the kitchen, right? It's super important. I like to focus on keeping the kitchen super clean. I get it clean before I start cooking and preparing the food. Why is this important? Like, for one big reason is cross-contamination, right? If you have a big mess and you're constantly moving things, there's a good chance you're going to cross-contaminate, right? In that whole section we talked about in food safety. So it's super important to get a clean kitchen. Another opportunity when you have a clean kitchen is it just makes it easier for you as you're cooking because you have everything laid out and you're ready to go. So when we're looking here at the kitchen, say this is a typical setup for me. All right, I have over here, I got some of my key ingredients that build flavor. Super important. We're going to get into those in another chapter, but those are really important, but they're always there. These are my go-tos. I got my oil, salt, pepper. There's some balsamic vinegar there. Super important. The sourdough starter is not part of it. Okay? Then I have here, I have a plate. This plate is just there for if I have to pull a food or something off the stove and I'm done cooking it. I got to get it off the heat, okay? So if I'm preparing chicken in here and the chicken is done and I got to get it off that pan, there's a plate ready for it. I don't have to go gather a plate trying to figure that out. I have an opportunity to pull it off the heat right away, no problem. Then if we're working into the space, I have my frying pan here, I'm cooking. It's where it's supposed to be, ready to pre-warm and get heated for cooking. I have my utensils that I'm using. I have a spatula here, a wood spatula, and then I got my trusted fish spatula that I use almost all the time for getting anything off of a pan when I'm cooking. And then as we step over here, I have my food prep. I have my cutting board ready. This would have prepared vegetables here or whatever I'm using to cook already done. If I'm using, say, raw chicken or something, that's going to be in one of these dishes already ready and portioned to be cooked. If it's a smaller meal, I might prep it all right here and have like piles ready to throw into the frying pan. But other than that, I got them all in those bowls ready to go. One other important tip, this is huge for a home cook and something you need to consider, especially if you're just getting started. You're on heat, right? And maybe you're prone to burning things. Now it's important, like when we talk about building flavor, and this is going to be a game changer for your cooking if you can nail that chapter, right? You're going to be cooking at higher heats. When you cook at low heats, typically, when you're cooking in a frying pan, you're not able to brown the food. You're not going to be able to bring out that flavor, right? So we're working on higher heat here. So the important thing is to have a space that you can move from. So when I'm cooking, I have a space that I need. If I got to pull off the heat, you could always just pull it off the heat, right? You could lift your frying pan, get it off the heat, let it do its thing. Sometimes it can take some time, but that's an opportunity, right? Obviously, you can turn your burner down, but sometimes that's not enough time. It's going to take too long. You got to get it off the heat quick. So you could just raise it up. Or another option is, I have a spot here. I could just slide it over. So now I'm off the heat, and I have an opportunity to be able to cool that down quick enough that I'm not going to burn whatever I'm cooking. Another option that you could consider is, say if you are frying something in there, as long as it's not just oil in something, is have a little bit of water on hand. If you have a cup of water on hand and this gets out of control and you're building flavor anyway, which we typically do, you'll see in some of the other videos, you could just add a little water in there and it might deglaze the pan a little bit and it might just stop that burning from happening on whatever you're creating. So that's one option. It doesn't work for everything, but it works for some things. So those are some simple things and thoughts when we're preparing a kitchen. Just remember, clean kitchen, number one. Number two, is to prepare your ingredients and get them all ready before you even start cooking. Three, have an area to be able to move your pan if you have to. Have a spot for your spatulas and everything like that. And then have a place where you can pull the food off when it is done cooking to stop the cooking. These are the ingredients I recommend that you have on hand at all times in your kitchen as a home cook. They're super important. Number one ingredient that you need to build flavor and is so important. Like, I can't even express this. Salt is like, something usually doesn't taste that good or is too bland. That's the culprit. It doesn't have enough salt. So number one, you need salt in your kitchen. And a good kosher salt. You want a thick, coarse salt like that. Super important, okay? That's number one. Number two is probably onions. Onions bring out a ton of flavor. They got a flavor of their own. They complement everything that you pretty much cook. Onions are super important. Yellow onions is probably the one I stock the most in my cupboard. You could use Vidalia's sweet onion, but yellow onions is probably the biggest one. Well, I'd say I carry an equal amount of yellow onion, and I do carry red onion for salads or something a little bit milder. I definitely carry a lot of that. Then, in the same ballpark as the onion is garlic. Garlic is just a staple. If you don't like garlic, I feel bad for you. Not saying it's necessary in every dish, but I love garlic and I think it incorporates well in all kinds of foods. So that's really important. And then there's butter. Like, not all butter is created equal. I try to get grass-fed butter. Hopefully it is really grass-fed. It's hard to go down the rabbit hole with that. But butter is super important. It can bring out a ton of flavor, and it also adds a fat. And that's going to be an important element that you're going to learn later on how to build flavor. And butter is one of those things that you can do to add some fat to a dish to really step up the game. So butter, and I like unsalted butter, because that way I can salt it the way I want it with the salt. So unsalted, grass-fed, hopefully grass-finished. And when you're buying butter, look at the ingredients of that butter, right? It should just be, say, pasteurized cream, and that's it. There's so many times they add different things to butter, and that's not what you're looking for. So look through those butters and never, ever buy margarine. That's like the closest thing to plastic. So stick with butter. Super important too to have on hand is an oil to cook with. I only use extra virgin olive oil. They've found so many health benefits with this oil that I find to be the most important oil to use when you're cooking. They're even finding it to be anti-inflammatory. So it's huge. You could buy just regular olive oil. It doesn't have to be extra virgin, because when you do cook with extra virgin olive oil, you're losing that taste of it. So you're kind of wasting that expense. And you could buy a cheaper olive oil. But for me, like, I just don't want to be switching oils. So I buy one, and I'm hoping that extra virgin is giving me health benefits even when I'm cooking it. Maybe I don't taste that flavor like you would if you had it on a salad, or you just putting it on some, say, cut cucumbers or tomatoes with some balsamic or something, and you get that real flavor, that olive oil. I just go for extra virgin olive oil. Another oil that, one benefit too, the higher the quality of this oil, the better it sustains the heat. So you can use this in your frying pan at a higher heat where that smoke point, it doesn't start burning with a good oil. So you get what you paid for with this, and then you want to try to get cold pressed, expelled pressed. That just means they're squeezing these things. They're not extracting it in another way. I can't express this enough. Like, I've been down the rabbit hole of oils, and any of those seed oils are really unhealthy. Vegetable oil, you think it would be vegetables and really healthy, it's really bad for you. Canola oil, all those other oils, seed oils, if you think of seed oils, they're extremely bad for your health. So try to get yourself some extra virgin olive oil. And then building flavor, and we're going to get into this a little more like I talked about, is a vinegar. You need an acid of some sort. So balsamic is like my go-to. It adds a ton of flavor to dishes. So balsamic, have a vinegar on hand. You could use apple cider vinegar if you like that. And also, like, maybe if you can keep on hand lemons and limes for acid, those are a great source too, but they're a little bit more perishable, so you got to make sure you're using them all the time. You get a bottle of this, you use it sparingly typically, and it'll be a game changer in your kitchen. And you know, don't forget pepper. Like, this is probably usually a staple. If you can get it so you can freshly crack it, that's even better. You know, I got to find another solution. I got this one. I just buy these, but it cracks the corn, so they're already cracked in there. So it's not like cracking new every time. I got to find a better solution for that. But that's it. These are the key core ingredients I would have in your cupboards and have on hand all the time as a home cook, because we're learning how to cook, not follow recipes. So when you find out you get these, you'd be amazed. With a protein, you'd be amazed at the things you could cook. Super important. Obviously, there's a ton of other things, like you could have potatoes on hand, or all different grains and rice and pastas and all that stuff. Yep, you can have all that, but these are the staples that you could, if you have one of those on hand, you could put together, incorporate, and make a meal. So that's it.